Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So in this tutorial I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this ankara lace combo baby dress. This is so easy to make, so guys, please try and watch to the end. Stay with me to the end. Let's cut and sew this baby dress. So I used African print or ankara fabric. I also used lining material to line the inner side. I used dry lace as well, or paper lace as you may call it, and some trimmings. So these are the materials I used for the dress. Starting with the upper part, we are cutting the front and the back together. The piece is on the fold, both the back and the front, and I have 1-inch extension towards me. That will be my zipper allowance. So all the measurement will be starting from that line. So to know the amount of fabric to put on fold is quarter of your biggest measurement, your chest or your waist, anyone that is bigger, quarter of it plus 1-inch or 1.5-inch seam allowance. That is what I put on fold. Mine is up to 2 inches seam allowance, and I put it on fold. So from the starting point I have 8 inches for the length, and I added the seam allowance to join it to the upper part. What you see me doing now is marking half of the shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. Half of it is 4 inches. I just marked it out, and I'm marking the neck width of 2.25 inches and the neck depth of 2.25 inches as well. So you can choose to do 2 inches neck width and 2.25 inches neck depth. This is for a two-year-old child, but I'm doing 2.25 by 2.25. So on the shoulder end, I will come down by 1/2 inch. That 1/2 inch is for the shoulder slope. I just came down by 1/2 inch, and I will connect it straight to the shoulder width to form the shoulder slant. You know our shoulder is not straight. You need to come down to slant it. If it is for adult, you can do 1 inch or 1.5 inches. But this is a child, we are just taking down 1/2 inch. So from there now we'll come down by half of the round armhole. The round armhole is 8 inches, half of it is 4 inches, and that is what you see me marking out. So I'm just marking what I have on the shoulder, on that chest line, so as to get a straight line. So after getting the straight line, I will mark it out as well to get the chest line. I came down by 1/2 inch and also by 4 inches. So in total it is 4.5 inches. So I just rule out the line now, and that line is the chest line. On that chest line, I'm going to put quarter of the chest measurement, which is 22 inches, divided by 4 is 5.5 inches, plus 1 inch seam allowance. I'll put the same measurement on the waist area because I have the same measurement for the waist and the chest. You know, babies, they do have big tummy, so most of the time their waist measurement is even bigger than the chest measurement. So the chest circumference, quarter of it is what I put on the waist, and I just mark that out. So getting the armhole curve, I will divide that line into 2. 4 inches divided by 2, I just got the midpoint, and I came in by 1/2 inch inwards, and I connected it to the initial measurement and also to the shoulder area. So you connect it like so. So we are almost done with the front part. So what is remaining is for me to add the 1/2 inch seam allowance that I'll be using to join the shoulder. Remember to add that so that your measurement will not be shorter. I'll add it by 1/2 inch. I'll use that to join the shoulder. So this is for the front part. We've not marked out the neck depth for the front part, so we'll cut it out and mark out the neck depth for the for the back part, sorry, we've not marked out the neck depth for the back part. We just marked it for the front part, which was 2.25 inches. So on that back part, I just rule the line to touch the zipper allowance so as to get a straight line, and I'll cut it out. So I've finished cutting it out, and the next thing we have to do is just to come down by 1 inch from that starting point for the back neck depth. You know, the 2.25 that we came down earlier was for the front depth, so we'll be coming down now by 1 inch. You can choose to maintain the 2.25 for the back as well, or even go lower, but me, I'll be going higher. So I'll be coming down from the starting point by 1 inch, and I'll connect it to the neck width and cut it out. So when you cut the back out, you now raise the front up and cut the front part out. So right now I've finished cutting it. On the back part alone, I will come up by 1/2 inch from that zipper side and connect it to the end, to the side, so as to get a slant line. The back is meant to be shorter than the front. It will even help the zip to relax properly. So like you see me doing, I am connecting straight to the side, and I'll trim that 1/2 inch off, and the upper part of the dress is ready. The last thing now, I am slitting it open. The back is meant to be 2. I will be using a zipper, and that's why I have a zipper allowance there. If you're not attaching a zipper, you just the same measurement for the front and the back, no zipper allowance. So right now I've cut it out, and I'll be using it to cut my African print and my lace. I'll be lacing only the front part of the dress. So I've cut it out right now. Like I said, I'll be lacing only the front part of the dress. I do not have enough fabric. If you do have enough, you can lace both the front and the back. I've cut it out now, and I will go ahead to join it. So for the pleats on the upper part of the dress, on the chest part of the dress, I just cut out a strip of lace about 50 inches or 45 inches, depending on the measurement you're working with. It doesn't have a specific length, but the width of the strip is 4 inches. So I just cut out 4 inches, and I'll be putting it on fold. I just put it on fold, and I'll sew it. After sewing it, I will then pleat it to the desired number of pleats I want. Just pleat it and attach it to the shoulder area. Once I attach it to the shoulder area, I will close it up with the back part on the shoulder. So remember to leave 1/2 inch on both sides, like you see me doing. I am leaving 1/2 inch so as to turn the neckline and the armhole line. So if you do not leave that 1/2 inch, you will find it difficult turning them up. So I will go ahead and sew on it. I'll stitch on it only on the front part. Then after that, I'll join the shoulder. I'll join the 2 shoulders. So I've stitched on it only on the front part. I made sure I left seam allowances on the sides and on the down part as well, on the neckline as well, so that I'll be able to turn it up with the lining. If you do not leave that, you will have challenges turning them up. So I endeavor to leave seam allowances 1/2 inch on both sides of the armhole and the neckline, and about 1 or 1.5 inches on the down part to join to the skirt part. So I will go ahead and tidy that rough edges with bias. You can use a ribbon, but I do not have a ribbon. I'm using a black bias strip. That's what I'll be using to tidy it up. So now I've sewn on it, I've tidied it up, and I've joined the shoulder, and I joined the shoulder of the lining as well. So I will just bring the lining and the fabric and place them right side on each other so as to turn the neckline and the armhole. I'll go ahead and match them up very well carefully and sew on the armhole, on the neckline carefully. I will make sure I will not be sewing on the pleated lace material that I placed on the neck area. I'll sew on it and notch both sides and turn them out. So right now I've sewn on it. I'll sew on the two armholes and I'll sew on the neckline. I'll be notching. Endeavor to do this so that it will relax properly. And I'm now ironing it. After notching, you turn out and iron it. As for the belt, I just cut out a width of 4 inches and length of 22 inches. You can do up to 25 inches. Then when you sew on it, you turn it out, iron it, place it on the front part and sew like you see me doing. Just watch what I'm doing. I will sew only on the front part without the lining. Then I will now bring up the lining and the fabric, right side facing, lining to lining, the fabric to the fabric, and I will sew with 1 inch seam allowance that I left earlier while drafting it. So I will sew on that, and this is what I have. I've attached the belt. I've joined the side. I've joined the side of the material. I iron the seam open as well so that it will relax. So this is what I have for the upper part. So let's move into the skirt part. For the skirt part, I have a sketch here. So this drawing, we've already cut out the upper part, which is the 8 inches. The full length of the gown is 23 inches. Minus 8 inches we cut out earlier is 15 inches. So on that 15 inches, I'll be using the lace that will be on the down part as 5 inches and the rest will be 10 inches. So for the skirt part, the ankara will now be 10 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance. That is 11 inches. That is what I have for my ankara fabric. Then for the lace fabric now, I will have the remaining one that will make it up to 15 inches. So I have it here, and this is a length of 72 inches. The width is 11 inches and the length is 72 inches. That is 2 yards. For the lace, I also have a length of 72 inches and a width of 5 inches. So that is 2 yards for the lace and for the ankara fabric. I'll join it the lace at the down part, and on the ankara I will come down by 3.5 inches. On that 3.5 inches I will rule a line, and that is where I'll be attaching my lace trimmings. This lace trimmings is just 2 yards. Everything is 2 yards. The length of the ankara is 2 yards. The lace as well is 2 yards, and the lace trimming is 2 yards. I'll sew on it, and after sewing on it, I will gather it on the waist area to match the waist area of the upper part. So I finished gathering the skirt part, sewing the lace to the down part, and sew the trimmings. I will attach the gathered skirt part to the upper part only on the African print, leaving the lining behind. I will attach it because I have a lining of the same length but the same width but different lengths, and I will attach it as well to the lining to lining, the fabric to the fabric, and I will attach it. So right now I finished attaching it. Look at how beautiful it's turning up. We are almost done with the dress. The only thing remaining now is for us to attach the zipper, which I would. So opening it up, this is how the inside looks. The lining is separate and the dress is separate as well. So I will go ahead and close it, the down part of the dress up. From the waist area I will come down by 3 inches, and that 3 inches I will close it up downwards. Then the remaining opening on the upper part is where I will be attaching my zipper.